Hey and welcome, msKIRAspeaks. Before we get started, I ask that you watch the videos till the end, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. We're back again for another episode of Snowfall, Season 5, Episode 5, titled The Iliad, Part 1. So Franklin comes in, he's got a drink for V. I think she's, having a little nausea, and she's taking a call about the downtown property. When she hangs up, they get a little kiss, and he finds out that they got the property. So there's still a lot to be done, like getting the funds into escrow. He says he'll start the process to transfer the Panama funds. And V's like, it's not just our money that needs moving. So they head on over to see Louie and Unc. Franklin and V, they have that paperwork, and they tell Louie that they can transfer the funds. Like, you call, you talk to so-and-so, and we can get it all done. I got this paperwork, just sign on the dotted line. And Louie's like, I never said that we were going to invest. I said I'd think about it. Franklin's like, listen, I gave you a minute to think, and now it's time to pull the trigger. So Jerome comes in, and he has apprehensions. He's like, that's, a mighty big trigger to pull. And Franklin says, listen, I'll lower the investment to $5 million. V says there's still a lot to be done, so all they really need is a 10% now. Unc says they have their own plans. Franklin still wants them to be a part of it. And Louie's like, we're glad you got your dreams, and we support your dreams, and yay, Franklin. But basically, his dreams are not their dreams. So Franklin and V heads out, and Franklin is pissed. He's like, hitting the wall and crap on the way out. Stubborn mother effers let ego get in the way. And Vi's like, it's okay. Oh, woo, woo, woo. Calm down now, Franklin. Like, it's all right now. But Franklin's like, he needed their part of the money. This building is going to work. She's got built-in contingencies for anything that might need greasing. Just trust her. I don't trust her. So V suggests Louie may need to hear it from someone else. Who might that someone be? It's gonna be Cissy. But first, Cissy meets with Ruben at a diner. And I think it's the same diner because she mentions the waitress with the braids recognized her. He tells her it's nothing to worry about. And Cissy seems a little less confident this meeting. She asks him what's the first step. And he gives her a bug to put in Franklin's office, and they'll take it from there. And Cissy's like, I want to get Teddy, not a bug. He tells her Teddy is one man, and the CIA has 10 men just like him lined up waiting to take his place. His goal is to get rid of Teddy and make sure no one comes after her family when he's gone. So he needs to find out everything that he can about the business. And I really wasn't feeling this idea, and Cissy had the same sentiment. Capturing and killing Teddy is one thing. Recording my son talking illegal activity is a mother effing another. Cissy says she's been around long enough to know that whatever agency that he's working for, they're not in it to help her find answers and revenge. He says she's right. Alton went about this the wrong way, and it nearly destroyed their family. I will not make the same mistake. I want Teddy, but not at the risk of betraying my son. Come on, Mama Saint, and you better stand by your word, because you got me a little worried here, because this whole operation is looking a little fishy. He says he understands and he has no intentions or interest in hurting her son. But without knowing everything about his business, he can't get her what she wants. And I still don't trust it, like I said. He tells her, listen, take the pen and you just do whatever you want to do with it. It's up to you, Sissy. Don't do it, Sissy. So Franklin, he meets up with Teddy. And he's got a new guy with him because Peaches called in sick. When are they going to give us the deets on Peaches? Teddy asks him if he's offering sick days now. Franklin says, if you don't take care of your people, they'll go behind your back. So Teddy asks about the situation with Louie and Jerome. The situation is a situation, but before they can even get started into the conversation, a van rolls up and they shooting, in my Nas voice. They all get down. But Franklin guy gets hurt. You notice I didn't even say the new guy that came to take Peach's place, because see, look, he going. Shot him, he going already. Teddy hits one of theirs before he gets hit, and he still managed to drive away. I mean, Teddy got hit, he got into that car, he scooched on over, he got into it, and he just left Gustavo just standing right there. So also he gets hit, and he gets in the car that Franklin has. It's some black dudes. Franklin, he manages to get in the car and back into the van and drive off without getting hit. Franklin's the only one that made it out without getting shot. So the car was dying, it's smoking, they had to pull off the road. And they pull off the road into like a little alley, and Franklin takes a look around. Also notices that there's some gang signs and whatnot, tagged on the wall. They wrap up Oso's gun wound. Now, Oso, he's got no gun, and Franklin has a gun, but no bullets. But now they got to walk around with all this cash. So Teddy is driving, looking like he's darn near bleeding out. He's about to pass out. So he pulls over, and he throws up, and then he goes in that trunk, gets his knife, gets some of that white girl, throws it on his wound, puts a little up his nose, and now he's straight. He's ready. He just hops in the car like it's nothing and just drives off. And they're giving us a lot, and it's less than 20 minutes into the show. So Oso asks Franklin who they were. Franklin's like, I don't know. And Oso's like, you need to know your enemies. Franklin's like, listen, because he's like, did you recognize the car? Franklin's like, who's going to use their car to do a drive-by? They followed you, Oso says. Franklin says, maybe they followed you. And Oso's like, I was with the CIA in my car. And Franklin asks, why did Teddy bounce like that? Oso's like, he got shot bad. I saw him. And Oso wants to know, but where's Peaches at? Franklin's like, he's sick. Let's just find the phone. So Cissy is meeting with Unc and Louie and V. And Louie's like, listen, I'm not trying to have the same conversation twice, sitting out here in this heat, sweating my edges. And Cissy's like, it's not the same conversation. Because like I said, V, she needed somebody to have this conversation with Louie, and it wasn't going to be her. Cissy says real estate isn't just a path to legitimacy. It's a path to a life that you don't have to live in fear, wondering when the ground is going to drop from beneath your feet. So while she's talking, Unc, he gets a page from Franklin. Cissy says she doesn't need her to invest with Franklin. She's asking them to think of an end, make some plans. And then Louie's pager goes off. Cissy continues, this empire you guys are building is going to crumble. So Unc excuses himself. Leon, he's talking to the homies about Malcolm X and Article 2 of the Constitutional Amendments providing the right to bear arms. Dude tells Leon, tell that to the cops the next time they roll through. And I think it was the guy with the glasses that was like, a black dude with a weapon is a dead dude. Something to those effects. I don't always write everything down. But Leon wants them to find a way to use their laws to their advantage. White laws, he said. Unc finally calls Franklin back because when he first got to the payphone, there was a dude on the phone just chitting and chatting and giving and gabbing and not giving a what. And Unc is like, oh, okay. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. So finally, like I said, he calls him back. Franklin tells him they got hit at the drop, but they're okay. He says they're stranded though. So as he's giving them a location, Unc spots a car just rolling on through and he yells, Louie! And again, they start shooting. They get down. Louie throws that table up. She gets behind the table. She just pop, 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 pop from behind the table. It's more black dudes with do-rags and bandanas. Jerome, he springs on over there like he's Superman. Him and Louie, they both shooting. So Franklin is calling Jerome like, Unc, when some dudes roll up on them and ask what's in the bag. Oso says it's dirty laundry. But these fools, they're not letting up. So Franklin, he pulls out his gun. Mind you, he has no bullets, but they scurry. But one of them, he don't move, and also peeps some more dudes in the background and also tells Franklin to run. And they do. And these dudes come out and now they're getting chased. So we see at the restaurant, it's a bunch of casualties, but Unc, Louie, V, and Cissy are okay. And Cissy looks shook as I don't know what. She's worried about this lady who lost her husband, I'm assuming. And she's like, we got to call the ambulance. And Louie's like, we got to go. We have to go now. And Cissy's like, what's going on? Who did this? Unc's like, I don't know, but they came for Franklin too, but he's okay. V was like, give me your guns. Quiet as a church mouse before then. So they walking up the street. It was just weird. I mean, they just looked suspect, and the cops were like, roll up on them, hands on your head and turn around. So Franklin and Oso, they're still running from these dudes. They find a place to hide, and they're like under like a crawl space. So the youngest dude of this Latin crew tells them that they're slow and they're split up. So Oso asks if his people are coming, and Franklin's like, no, they got hit too. I heard gunshots on the other side of the call. So Franklin says, they need to get out of there. But Oso tells him, look, if we leave out of here now, you're going to be a dead man. So the cops are asking Jerome if this is some type of retaliation. And Unc says he was just having some lunch with his family. He tells the other cops to go check the ladies. He asked them to stand, and V goes into her theatrics. She starts crying like the man right next to me just died right in front of me. And the guy goes to like grab her anyway. And Cissy's like, oh no, she's pregnant. So Louie asks to have a word with the officer. She tells him, listen, I'm a CI and I'm working with Detective Bo Buckley in the Southwest Crash Unit. And he said if I ever need anything to give him a call. I mean, just like that, not even sounding like Louie, just sounded like Shaniqua from the hood. So he's like, if you're lying, we're going to have a problem, the officer says. She's like, you need me to give you his pager number? So we see a lady and she's jogging. And as she stops jogging, and I'm assuming she's going into her home, we see a car with bullet holes. Teddy's car. We see bloody footprints. She decides to grab a shovel and go on inside. Who's bleeding in my house? She asked. Child, I might not, never. So Teddy's bleeding all over the lady's kitchen floor. Apparently these two know each other. What was his name? She didn't say Theodore. Thomas, that's what she said. She picks up the phone. He asks her not to call the ambulance and not to call the cops. She's like, so where exactly do you want to be buried then? So he's like, you can do it. She says she's expensive. He's like, hey, it's not a problem. $250,000. So she puts her gloves on and she says, can't be too careful around blood lately. A nurse at the hospital caught HIV from a patient. Imagine getting HIV without the fun. Yeah. So they're really sticking to the topics of the 80s. And are we going to find out about Peaches? Now that they're bringing it up, does Peaches, in fact, have HIV? Is that why he needed a sick day? So she lifts him and Teddy hollers, where have you been? You stopped sending me money and then you vanish. Things got a little hot, Teddy says, and she's asking him questions. But Teddy, he don't want her all in the business. So she tells him it's a clean exit. He's not going to die unless she wants him to. So he's like, where are you going? She's like, I'm off to the hospital to steal some medical supplies. And she throws some salt in his wound before she heads out. I hollered to myself. She's like, nothing keeps you more awake than pain. Child. So Leon, he's trying to contact Franklin and he gets no answer because, of course, Franklin is in the crawl space under the building. He's got to go handle business. So he meets with Avi and Avi's got those specialty items. And Leon's like, it's a change of plans. I don't need the heavy stuff anymore. He just needs some handguns, shotguns, lots of them. Clean and registers. Avi's like, there's no receipts here. There's no receipts. This is not Macy's, dude. So as they're talking, you guessed it, they get rolled up on. Now we know none of this is a coincidence. Like Franklin said, they knew everywhere they'd be. I need answers, and I suspect that V has something to do with it. So one of Avi's people gets hit, and Leon, he runs out and he's busting, and one of their dudes falls out the window. And the car just pulls off. So they run over and pull, the thing off his face to see who it is. Franklin and Oso, they're talking about how their morning went. Like, this is wasn't what I thought was going to happen when I woke up this morning. Franklin had plans to change the family's life. Now everybody's in danger. Oso's like, I just was making some pancakes this morning for the kids, just chilling. So, like I said, they're still hiding out. And Franklin tells him V is pregnant. So he congratulates him, and Franklin's like, it's been quiet for a while. And honestly, a few minutes after they went in there, we heard running, we heard a car pull off, but they, could better safe than sorry. So he wants to try to make a move, and they're going to leave the money and come back and get it. And I wasn't so sure it was a good idea. I mean, they didn't bury it. They just left it sitting there. The door was kind of open, and I'm like, fingers crossed. So Unc and Louie and the gang, they're still at the scene. Unc gets another page from, I said Leon. It might have been from Leon. Anyway, Bo is there. He wants to know who they pissed off. And Unc's like, I would like to go find out. Bo wants a proper thank you. What exactly am I thanking you for? And Unc goes off like, the drugs that we supply you for free, for you hitting on my woman, for you running up on me in the projects. I mean, he's just going and like, should I bust your head to the white meat? Like, Unc is not with the shit. So Louie's like, we appreciate you. And Unc says, you come see me when you stop hiding behind that badge. And they can finally go. So Parisa, who is the crazy lady that's with Teddy, she takes the bullet out of Teddy's shoulder and she starts talking about missing surgery. And she says in America, she can only change bedpans. Teddy is high and she's talking about her nasty fantasies. And then she starts to pleasure herself. And I'm like, is all of this really happening right now? Or is this Teddy hallucinating? I'm confused and just yuck. So, Franklin and Gustavo, they're out and they're looking for a house to break into to use the phone. They find one and they creep in the window. And why is Gustavo speaking so much Spanish this season? It's just my observation. So they done broke into the wrong place. We see stuffed animals when they come in, and I don't mean teddy bears. We're talking, they're at a taxidermist's house. And the phone isn't working. And then Franklin gets hit with a tranq dart. Down he goes, and Oso puts his hands up. And apparently folks must have been breaking into this man's house because he tells Franklin, I told you I'd get security. You gonna stuff us, Franklin says. Now I seen Franklin get hit, but I didn't see Oso get hit. But apparently he got hit too. You too skinny. But the other one, and Franklin's like, Oso, he gonna stuff us. Run. Like I said, I ain't know Oso got hit, but Oso is on the ground. So Teddy wakes up in Miss Lady's bed and she tells him the CIA has been aging him. At this point, I'm like, we're going to need to wrap some of this up because there's less than 10 minutes of the show left and I need some answers. She says, she goes in his pocket and she gets his key. She's like, I'm going to have to move your car. Like a car sitting out there with bullet holes in this neighborhood is a no-no. Who is this woman? And Teddy didn't have a sister, and I don't even remember her from anywhere else in the series, but okay. So when she goes outside, she's kind of snooping around like she ain't trying to move no car, and she opens the trunk to find the cocaina, and she has this look on her face. Leon makes his way to Louie's club, and everyone is there except for Gustavo, Franklin, and Peaches, of course. So Leon has his people ready to go to war, he says. He asks, where's Franklin? Cissy's like, who would do this? V asks, was it Teddy? Which, really? No. Oh, snake ass. So Louie says, Teddy wouldn't hire no gangbangers to take shots at them. Leon says, they left one of theirs behind with no ID and like nobody recognizes the dude. So Louie says, whoever did this was close. They knew everywhere they're going to be at. Franklin said the same thing. Leon asked if Peaches is with Franklin. Louie says he called in sick. Anybody heard from him, she asked. Unc says, it ain't got nothing to do with Peaches. What about Thelma and Louise? It's their day off, V says. How does security get a day off and you don't have no backup security? For a big time drug dealers, it's just messy. It's just a no-no. So Unc's like, he wants to find them. And Louie's like, no, you go check on Peaches and she'll have someone handle Thelma and Louise. So V's like, I can't just sit around and do nothing. You're going to sit down. Sissy's like, me neither. And Jerome's like, hold your horses. Franklin will lose his shit if he finds out that y'all are out in the streets with everything that's going on. And you know he will. He tells him Franklin is a survivor, probably on his way back here already, but not quite. Franklin is passed out on the ground and he wakes up out of a dream to find himself with a tiger in a cage next to him. He wakes Oso up. He's like, Oso, we gotta get the F out of here. And that is where we end. You talking about hot? Your girl was not happy. And I mean, I guess it was a part 2, so I should have known that there was more to come. But not one string did they tie up in this episode. Left us with all cliffhangers. What were your thoughts on the episode? Please drop them down below in the comments. The tiger, that's where they lost me. Like, we was doing good, Snowfall. Like, what in the tiger? What in the tiger? Let me just move on. I hope that you'll come back and join me for my review of episode 6, where hopefully we get some answers. It'll probably be the Iliad part 2. If you've made it this far, put a tiger emoji down in the comments for the BS ending of this episode. While you're here, please check out some of my other content. Thank you. And before you go, please like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate y'all. Peace.